CoolersOnSale.com here for another tumbler ice challenge. We did this a while back with only 2 tumblers. Now we've got 9 of them. Different sizes, different brands. So we'll give you a walkthrough, show you that all these tumblers are filled to capacity with ice, give them their proper introduction, and we'll be underway and see how long these tumblers can maintain ice. So we'll give you the walkthrough right now and show you what we're starting with. First up is the Rec Pro 30 ounce. A clear lid that actually closes, so we'll close that up to seal in the coldness, filled to capacity with ice. The next down is the Rec Pro 20 ounce, same principle with the lid, it actually locks, so we'll keep that closed, filled to capacity. This is an Engel 30 ounce tumbler. Our friends at Coast to Coast Custom Coatings have hydro dipped it, but you can see the Engel logo here maybe. This is an actual screw-in lid, so this is a little bit different than the rest of the tumblers, and a locking sip cup, but filled to capacity. The 22 ounce Engel is just a smaller version, same principle, screw-in cap, and also a locking sip cup, filled to capacity. Next up is the Yeti Rambler. This is a 30 ounce tumbler, not a locking sip end here, so it's just open to the elements, and a clear cap, filled to capacity. Again, a 30 ounce tumbler. Followed by the Ozark Trails 30 ounce. This is your Walmart tumbler. I think these are like $9.99 at Walmart. Almost identical to the Yeti Rambler. Same lid, everything is almost the same. I will say though, when we filled these up, I'll show you right now, the gasket on these are really kind of flimsy, and every time you push them on, they want to move around, so I guess you get what you pay for. The next one down is the 20 ounce Ozark Trail. Again, this is a Walmart brand, same exact lid as the Yeti open sip side. This is the Siberian Nomad. This is a 24 ounce tumbler. We also had this one hydro dipped by our buddies at Coast to Coast Custom Coatings. This one has a locking sip cap as well, clear, but at least you can close it, so we'll keep that closed, filled to capacity. Last but not least is another Ozark Trail. This one again has been hydro dipped, probably the coolest looking tumbler I've ever seen. But we want to see if there's a big difference between these two Ozarks, if a darker color has an impact on a stainless steel tumbler. The exact same tumblers, just one's been hydro dipped in a darker color, and this one will leave stainless steel. So that's the lineup here for the tumblers, and we will leave these outside on the dock. We're going to set them off to the side and try to keep them in the shade, because that's what most people would do if they had them in a car or on a boat under a T-top or something. It's not going to be just sitting out in the blazing sun. Although we're going to leave them on the dock, we're going to try and put them in the shade. So the scene is set here. We'll check back in probably this evening, maybe 10 hours from now, something like that, just to see the progress, and we'll do a temperature reading on the inside as well. So that's the Ultimate Tumbler Challenge here, brought to you by CoolersOnSale.com. We'll check you later on this evening. We're about 4 hours into the tumbler test. We're going to give you a quick look. There's a little bit of melt going on, so we'll show you what it is 4 hours after. First up, the Rec Pro 30 ounce. I guess you can see right through there. I don't even take the lid off. It's about 1.5 inches down from the top where we started. And then the Rec Pro 20 ounce, maybe 1 inch down from where we started. What do we have next? The Engel. This is our hydro dip one. I guess I need to open this up. Same, maybe only 1/2 inch. That looks like it's holding ice better than the other two. Engel 22. About 1 inch down. Next up we'll go the Yeti, about 1 inch down. Or sorry, this is the Siberian. Sorry, Siberian, 24 ounce, about 1 inch down. Here's the Yeti, about 1 inch down. Again, open lid. This is the Ozark Trail, 30 ounce stainless steel, and we'll take a look at the same Ozark hydro dip 30 ounce, so you can see the difference in the melt. Not much, about the same. Last but not least is the Ozark 20 ounce. Looks about the same. So again, that's a 4 hour update. We're going to check them again tonight about another 4 hours, just so you can see the progression of the ice melt throughout the day, and then we'll pick back up again tomorrow morning. 24-hour update for our Tumbler Ice Challenge. We got some pretty significant ice melt. First up, the Rec Pro 30 ounce. You can feel this cup is really hot. I'll grab the thermometer here and see what we're reading on that. 90, 80, 89, 90 degrees. Nothing left on the inside. Completely melted for the Rec Pro 30 ounce. Take a temperature reading, although it feels pretty warm. 50 degrees, so probably lost ice sometime middle of the night. Next up is the Rec Pro 20 ounce. Like same thing, outside about 92, 90. No ice on the inside. Same, about 55 degrees. So I'd imagine that these two went out at the same time. Next up is the Engel. This is the 30 ounce. Wow, much hotter, 101. And it doesn't sound like, there's a few chunks left in there. 2 or 3 chunks still left in there. And I guess we'll get a temperature reading on this. 32. Next up is the small Engel, the 22 ounce. 80 degrees on the outside, so that's what, 20 degrees cooler than the black hydro dipped tumbler. Inside, nothing, no ice is remaining. We'll get a temperature reading of 50 degrees, so about the same as the Rec Pro. Next up is the Siberian Nomad 24 ounce. 100 degrees, so much like the Engel, over 100 degrees. Nothing remaining on the inside, all water. And we'll take a temperature reading of 52 degrees, 53 degrees. Next up is the Yeti. Yeti still has some ice left in it. 89 degrees, 90 degrees. And on the inside, quite a few, big ice chunk left in there. And the internal temp, wow, 25. Last but not least, the Ozark 30 ounce. And there's still some ice left in there. We'll get an outside temp reading of 80. And internal, wow, that's the most iced. 30, 20, 25 to 30. Something tells me that's all. Take a look at that. That's that gasket I was talking about. It's you got to pull it down to get it back on there. That's the problem with this Ozark. Last but not least, the same hydro dipped Ozark. This is the black one, so much hotter on the outside, about what, 15 degrees hotter on the outside. And we still got ice in this one, so we still got quite a bit of ice in this one, and we're 24.5. Last but not least is the small Ozark. This is the 20 ounce, outside 80, wow, 86. Inside, no ice. No ice left on the smaller one, but inside temp of about 50. Alrighty, so there you have it. That's kind of a 24-hour update. I'm quite surprised that the only ones that still have ice remaining are the large Engel, the 30 ounce, the Yeti Rambler 30 ounce, and the Ozark Trail 30 ounce, both the hydro dip and the stainless steel tumbler. The rest of them are completely out of ice. We'll check back in about another 4 hours to see how long these tumblers can hold ice, because the sun is starting to come up and bake in these tumblers now. So we'll see how long they can go, but we know they go about 24 hours. Even the ones that ran out of ice, I would think it goes almost 24 hours. I'm really surprised about that Ozark Trail is able to hold ice like it is, but again, you saw that gasket issue, so that it doesn't seem to be affecting the ice retention, but not something I would want to deal with. Anyways, we'll check in with you in another 4 hours. All right, we're about 30 hours into our tumbler test, and every one of these tumblers has checked out. We have no ice remaining. The last one that was holding strong this morning was the Yeti Rambler 30 ounce, and then we also had a little bit of ice in the Engel 30 ounce, and neither of them have any ice remaining. So we can say these tumblers are good for about 24 to 36 hours depending on the temperature. These have been sitting outside in 90-degree temperature. I'm sure you probably see I'm drenched in sweat from working outside all day. It is absolutely scorching outside today. Granted, they've been sitting in somewhat of a shade. It's still really hot outside. So I'd say that a tumbler across the board is good for about 24 hours. An Engel, a Yeti, and the two Ozarks, actually, the 20 ounce and the 30 ounce actually were good for about 30 hours. So keep that in mind. We'll give you a full look at them on the inside again. Just kind of go over little quirky things like the Rec Pro lid is locking. On the Ozarks, the gasket was a little bit off. So we'll go over that in the later section, but thanks for watching. This is the Tumbler Ice Challenge.